Hey bike farmers, thanks for clicking in. I got in the stand today a Trek 7.3. This is the FX series fitness hybrid, road hybrid, I don't know what you really call it. These are great general purpose all-arounder bikes. Anytime I get one of these in, I get excited. They sell like hotcakes. Really good, just riding around town on the city bike paths, that kind of bike. This one has just the right amount of crunch to it. It is used, very used. I can just by squeezing the rear brake, that's one of the first things I do. You can see how slow it is to return. It's just gunky in all the right places, and we can totally bring this one back to life. So this is gonna be a really straightforward video, nice and relaxing, really chill. Make yourself comfortable, kick back, relax, and let's get started. Okay, per the usual, we'll disconnect the brake, put it into high gear, and pop this rear wheel off. This front wheel's on backwards, and the hub is loose. Stuck inside that rim is something banging around there, so we're gonna have to take this wheel off and try to shake out whatever's in there. Let's check the springs. So this is a public service announcement more than anything, but I see this a lot, so I wanna spread the word. So there are springs on the Skewer. So this is how this one came. Now there it's pointy side in, which is right, but there's actually two springs here, right? And you want a pointy side in on both. This is what the Skewer looks like. So we'll go pointy side in, and then pointy side in. Okay, that's the way you want it. Okay, this cable is frayed and nasty. There's like a TikTok out there where you take a zip tie. Let's try it. I saw this on a TikTok once. This is a life hack, a bike hack. You take a zip tie and you put it on nice and tight, and then you do this. And you wind it back up. It's a little better, but I've always just used the pliers to do it. I've always just done this. Right? See how much better that is? Then you can take your Park Tool EP1, extra pretentious one, and with great pretense, take a cable tip. I have one of the big brake cable tips here, and do that. Fixed. One of my favorite tricks is you take the derailleur and you push it like that, and you can slide that piece of housing out. That gives you access to that piece of cable, or that part of the cable. You can see there's a little bit of a kink in the cable right there. You can just kind of work that out with your fingers. This is just tri-flow. There's links in the description to my Amazon affiliate links. I get a little bit of money. I can get like 13 cents if you buy a bottle of this. When your cable's loose, you can pop that out, pull that front piece of housing down, and lube up the front part of the cable too. And the cables go through a little cable guide down here, and you can put a little bit of lube on the cables there. That helps. Get that hooked back up, push on that derailleur, and get that in there. This drives people crazy. I had no idea, but doing that, like people think that this is like rubbing on the frame or something. I get a lot of comments, and it just doesn't bother me at all. It never has. Anyway, I'm gonna put that in the lowest gear there. Then you can pull out on that derailleur. That gives you enough slack to get the front shift cable unhooked. And I got you up front here so you can see that kink. I grabbed the pliers just in case I needed it, but So you can just kind of use your fingers to get those kinks out. Still a little bit. You're not going to feel that on the front derailleur. These, this is a 9-speed, 3x9 speed drivetrain. They're pretty robust. Get this rear brake cable good and lubricated. Okay, this kink is problematic. You can see it right there. And I could feel that one. Ooh, it's way better. Way more better, hey. Okay, so after lubing and tweaking and stuff, I'm still feeling something in here. I think we're gonna take it apart. Now I generally avoid removing cables, because even if you get a nice clean cut, sometimes you can't get cables back through the housing. A lot of people are like, why don't you just replace it? It's only a couple of bucks. And I don't know, just out of principle, I don't replace cables unless they absolutely need to be replaced. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Now this is where the cable gets clamped. It's not like it has to be smooth, but if I pull all this housing off, it's going to be really hard to get that cable back through the housing. But I can feel there's a kink in there, so we're going to have to. I think maybe we'll just replace the cable. Yeah, there's that kink. Should we try to reuse it? That's got a little bit of schmutz on it too. Clean up the end. Brand new ferrule. So to get at this cable, we back the barrel adjuster out. That was pretty kinky. I think we just found our thumbnail. I think I got a rubber donut stuck in the cable stop. Yep, found it. That'll give you a squishy brake. That might have been part of what we were feeling. Just to kind of show you here, there are these little rubber donuts on the cables to kind of keep it from wrapping on the frame. And one of these was stuck inside the cable stop back here. So smushing rubber up against the cable stop and compressing it against the cable made for a really squishy feeling brake. So I think with a combination of that and a little bit of corrosion and some kinkiness, this one gets a new rear brake cable. I'm out approximately $2.50. You can see here on the barrel adjuster, it's turned way out. I don't like that. I'm gonna turn that in. And we'll make the adjustment later when we adjust the front brake. But for now, I'm just worried about getting access to this little bit of housing so we can drip some lube down in there on the front brake. We just kind of do that. Don't forget to lube your noodle, boys. Just kind of work it a little bit. So I have a moderately clean rag, and behold, furniture polish, brilliant shine, cleans gently, leaves a protective film. Makes for an excellent bike polish. Apply liberally. Okay, up here on the truing stand, I generally start with the rear wheel first. Take a look at it, and nothing seems too out of true. The hub feels pretty good. Spoke protector's in good shape. I'm gonna hit it with some Dawn Power Wash here and grab a little bit dirtier rag. Oh, what do we talk about today? I mean, unfortunately, the thing that's continually on my mind these days stems back to the election. And when I had a brilliant idea that, I thought that, my unpopular opinions were more popular than they were. So I decided to do entire videos. I did 2 videos about the election and my thoughts on it, and I expressed some political opinions, which, of course, right? I know, I should have known better, but I really thought that, I had an audience that would be more receptive to it than it was, and now I would say some of you are very receptive to it, and I received some really great super thanks. People really enjoyed what I said, that they agreed with what I was advocating for, which was not my intention at all. My intention, despite expressing some pretty flagrant opinions about certain politicians, my overall message was, everybody has their opinions. I think we should be able to talk about it. It was a message of unity and saying, hey, let's try to agree to disagree. Well, it totally backfired. And there was like a mass exodus of people unsubscribing. The comments got, really pretty toxic and kind of scary. And I had to take the videos down because it started they started reaching out to my family members, and there was some real blowback. It was absolutely insane, is what it was. And that's just part of it, right? The part that's been bothering me since then is I had a lot of good momentum, and I was showing solid growth with the channel. Everything positive. Everything was going my way in the YouTube world, and now it's not. Something happened. The whole thing triggered the algorithm, so my videos aren't getting pushed out like they were. New subscribers are a quarter of what they were prior to making those videos. So I don't know what that's all about. Overall views are down. And then, people watching to the end, retention is up, but my analytics have changed dramatically. And that includes the revenue that the videos are making. And just overall watch hours, and everything is way down. I pissed off the algorithm. And the YouTube algorithm is interesting. They say that you can just substitute the word audience for algorithm when you're talking about it. And so definitely switching gears and becoming way more topical in the dumbest possible way. Picking the absolute worst topic to just totally pivot 270 degrees. Apparently is a really bad thing to do with a YouTube channel. You know, it's always risky being, you know, going off topic, like not having it be about bikes and having it be about something else. But I had done some other topical videos before and got really great response and just thought it was safer than it was. I seriously underestimated how much it would affect the channel. So for those of you who stuck around and those of you who have sent super thanks, thank you so much, because without that, I would be shitting my pants right now, literally, figuratively. This wheel is so true, it's amazing. But I don't know how I can ask for help. I mean, obviously, like a super thanks and memberships and all that would help somewhat, but anyway, I'm just kind of in damage control still, and it's been, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe I have to give it more time. I built the channel slowly and deliberately, and it was just really humming along. It was really good. Everything was looking great, and now it's just kind of looking okay. It's easy to come to work every day and make videos when things are great. Yeah, I guess that's what's on my mind. You know, I kind of feel like I was canceled or a victim of cancel culture in a way. And I know that some people definitely were like, bye dude, you know, like no more of you, you know, wanted me to be canceled, but a large, vast majority of you are like, oh man, that was great, you know, keep up the good work. And, you know, that support, you know, is what makes it all worth it. And to know that maybe I'm just like, still just kind of reeling from the impact of making a very terrible decision, a serious lapse in judgment. I have nobody to blame but myself for not understanding and underestimating how offensive some of the things I said were. And so I apologize for all of that, for anybody who might have been offended and decided to stick around anyway. You guys are the best, by the way. I really wish, though, that if we could talk about important things like politics, philosophy, religion, the human spirit, what makes life good, without people taking it so personally. Man, we have a lot to learn from one another if we just didn't take everything so personally and making it about ourselves. So I was in search of community, and on one hand I found it. You know, what I'm left with is a much stronger community. It's just not as big, and I'll absorb the financial impact. Hopefully it's not long lasting and I can work my way out of it. So there's my rant stand, beg for forgiveness, plea for help. Man, can you hear that? Oh. There's something in there. This wheel needs no truing. The hub needs something. No, the hub feels okay, adequate. It's a little crunchy. It's adequate. So we don't know what's going on inside this rim. But something's floating around in there. A lot of times it's just like one of the spoke nipple heads broke off, but the wheel is so true, I can't imagine that that's what happened, unless somebody replaced the spoke and ignored that whole thing. Could just be a burr that worked its way loose from manufacturing. Okay. So we find the valve hole and just bounce it until something comes out. Nope. Oh, I saw something. Thought I saw something. Okay, it seems like it's right around in here. So where is that in relation to anything? That is annoying. Oh, there it is. I see the thing. I found it. I don't know what it is. It's too big to fit through the hole. I don't know what it is, but it's too big to fit through the valve hole. And if it's something I can break, maybe I can get at it with this punch. Yeah, it's like a rock. Oh. Man, I just don't know what it is. Holy shit, it's like a little piece of marble or something. You know, like a rock or a stone got in there. At least it's breaking. Oh, what am I doing? Okay. What the hell, guys? So the valve hole's only so big. The nipple holes are way bigger. There's the last bit. I could have done that from the beginning and just saved myself a whole bunch of farting around and pounding of things. Gotta clean up a little bit of a schmutz here. Here's the thing, is like, I did well in school. I have a college degree. I have had people say clearly, you're an intelligent person. I've had people say that to me. But sometimes, I swear to God, I'm the dumbest person I've ever met. You know? So I'm just not smart sometimes. So I'll drop a little bit of lube down in the posts, these brakes, and that gets these flippity flappity all night long. I got this brand new rear brake cable that is slicker than snot on a doorknob. Get that sucker hooked up. That's really pretty good. Feels so much better. This is my Hosan cable cutters. I think I've got a link for that in the description. But I've had this for I don't know how many years now. It's just the cleanest cut. The EP1 cable crimper tool. Totally extra pretentious. So this brake pad is starting to show signs of struggle here. But if you just kind of flatten it a little bit, I don't know, maybe we do just replace them. Just seems like there's quite a bit of life left on both of them. We'll replace them. The rear ones look great. What I look for is this spacer is wider than the other spacer. So you can see there's two different size spacers, skinny and wide. This one has got the wide by the pad. So you just want to make sure that when you install the new pads, it's the same. What that does, it'll affect how far these things splay out. Oh, dropped a bunch of brake hardware and dropped the brake pad. I don't care. Oh, dropped my wrench. Something else to note here is, what are we calling this? The noodle holder? The noodle bracket? So at some point, these handlebars flipped all the way around, which yanked the noodle through its happy home here. So we gotta pinch it back together. Yeah, get it back in its happy home. Very tight. So if you remember, we turned in the barrel adjuster that loosened the cable. So they must have, those brake pads wore down, so they just backed out the barrel adjuster. That's what they're for. But then with these new pads, they're a little bit thicker than the old pads. Okay, see how it's pulling from one side? First thing I always check is the wheel in straight. So I loosen it. I'm pulling straight up on the wheel and then tighten it back down. Okay, same story. I'm gonna add a little bit of tension to this side. Okay, here's another trick. You can take this linear spring and now it's pulling this side, this spring is pulling the whole system up against the rim from this side. If you loosen that, you can put your pad right where you want it on the rim. Okay, it's hitting nice and flat. And you can crank it down. Felt like it moved a little bit. I cranked it. Okay, and then you hook it back up. See how that works? Loosen it up. Now this side's pulling it over. Loosen up your pad. Get it positioned. And then tighten it back. Ooh, you hear that? That's a very loose headset, but a really nice brake. So the adjustment here, luckily this one, what? That's a 4mm. I was gonna say luckily this one's all 5mm, but I think they should just always have these bolt heads be the same. But if you loosen the stem clamp, okay, so now nothing's clamping all this together. You can, That was probably out of focus, but now you're probably in focus. Okay, and then I'm just tightening this top cap, and that's pulling the whole system together. We just go finger tight. I'm recentering things here, which can be really hard to do in the stand. It's a lot easier when the bike's on the ground. And once you get that set finger tight, that's setting the preload of the bearings. And you tighten these boogers back down. Okay, spin your front wheel, slam on the front brake, tight. Light. Now before I even get going with the shifting, we're taking some finish line one step, just flooding everything. Get this back here too. Here's a Park Tool Chain Checker 3.2, and there's a 0.5% side and a 0.75% side. So this is the 0.5%, and you're checking for chain stretch. If this were to drop down in there 0.5, then I would say, maybe time for a change. And then if you put it there and then it drops down 0.75, then definitely change, right? So it's like 0.5, you can get away with just replacing the chain usually. 0.75, new chain and cassette. But this measured not worn out. Now what it measures is the chain stretch, which it doesn't actually stretch. What happens is each one of the bushings wears down just a few thousandths of an inch, but over the course of however many links, 132 links or whatever it is, it adds up, and then you get uneven wear in the cogs, and especially in the little ones, in the high gears, you'll get some jumping and skipping and grinding and nastiness. But mostly it's the slipping. Got some tri-flow here, just spraying on things to lubricate it. You can use one step too. Both things work. Here we go with a chain cleaning, derailleur polishing. There's a couple scuffs here, so keep that in mind when I'm looking at the shifting, that maybe this hanger's bent. Not showing any signs of a bent hanger yet. I think once we actually look at it, we're gonna see that this bike shifts swimmingly well. Swimmingly is maybe the dumbest adverb I've ever used. It's very dumb. Probably shouldn't use it. Okay, a little bit of rubbing here in the front derailleur when I'm in the high gear. I'm turning the barrel adjuster out, up on the lever. Get rid of that rubbing. Watch how well this shifts. All it needed was lube. Okay, so that is, this front derailleur is rubbing on the chain guard. The front derailleur wants to come up a fraction of a smidge. I don't know if it's, oh man, that was loose. Oh yeah, it did let me do it. Okay, so that was approximately 1 fraction of a smidge. Something's stuck. What was that? Very good. Let's take this rag. Get some polish on it. We'll give it one more wipe. While I'm wiping, one thing I forgot to mention in the Rant stand is as far as the algorithm goes, now I spent a lot of time trying to figure out the algorithm. And what it cares about is what you guys want to watch, right? So it could very well be that, you know, it's all AI, I think, or a big part of it is, that it was reading comments or knew what I was saying in the video or something and thinks that I took a stand for or against one political party and then like put me in the category of political channel, and all of a sudden it's not showing it to like the other half of the population. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe it labeled me somehow. Like so many people in the comments like to label me somehow, which sucks because I don't like to be labeled at all, ever. Especially based on one opinion. And yeah, I don't know how to reverse that, but you know, that's what we deal with as creators. Like, you know, it's always, oh, what does the algorithm want? And the answer is like, what does the audience want? And maybe if I just stuck to bikes, I wouldn't have any of these problems, you know, but it's like, well, I can stick to bikes too, but I get a lot of comments where people are like, oh, we love hearing your opinions and sharing your worldview and whatever. And, you know, it's like, it's a double-edged sword. I don't know what to do. I'm having an existential crisis. Crisis of faith. This bottle holder is bent and nasty. Oh, dropped a water bottle holder. So I got these threads greased on these screws when I put them back in, so a little more squeaky. I'm not sure I ever lubed the front posts. Definitely didn't really need it. Definitely didn't really. Couple of valve caps. Kickstand is really tight. Yeah. Kickstand is just fine. I'm gonna squirt some lube up the kickstand's butt. You know, because this is a kinky bike. There you have it, bike farmers. We have ourselves a completed bike. This thing is shifting and braking swimmingly, and everything's tight. The brakes aren't even though. Let's cheat. We'll just turn this barrel adjuster out a little bit. I like my brakes to have an even amount of pull. Yeah, I mean, I just love these bikes. They ride great too. See, I just do a lot of little checks. You know, squeezing both tires at the same time. The rear one's way softer than the front. I mean, this bike is gonna get resold out of my used bike showroom, which is my garage, in the spring. So I'll have to put air in the tires in the spring anyway, but yeah, I guess. You know, thanks so much for clicking in the first place, and if you watch till the end, that's like the number one thing. If we're gonna turn this algo around in my favor, that's the number one thing to turn this algorithm around, is just to keep people watching till the end. Algo loves that, and I love you if you've watched this far. Give it a like, subscribe if you haven't yet. Let that algorithm know we want people subscribing. If you want to give a little extra, now's the time. Click that super thanks button. Send me 5, 10, 20 bucks. I'll go right across the street and get me some tacos from El Mariachi. They are so good, the tacos campechanos. Oh man, oh yeah, you could join the channel, monthly sustaining membership. 5, 10 bucks there, that adds up. That's money I can count on. Then I don't freak out when I say something stupid and everybody unsubscribes and triggers the algorithm to destroy my life. At least I got my membership. And let's see here, what else? Oh yeah, for yourself, click that notification bell so you and your bikes can stay tuned.